got up on that. That was actually better. Because that's just being started. People are more going this way. I mean, it's packed. But they want to stay right in the middle.
No, thanks. So
What's your hair? Okay. That truck is out of the way. Step out there just long enough that I can get you with Neon in the background.
Who are you talking to now?
You three?
Oh, okay.
Just right about there, Matt. Get one of each of us.
Yeah.
Each of the two father-son combos.
Yeah. Wow, looking. Getting it on, ain't it? Yeah. I don't know if I got any change or not.
What's that?
That's for the little boy. All right, bud.
Thank you.
I bet you that's expensive. Look at that guy.
Huh? Yeah,
That hotel.
yeah, they're pretty.
Got one already?
I'm hoping she's still standing up to a good size.
We will. Hang on for just a second. We lose all area. Okay.
I hope you want a lot of tape of this, Chief.
I do.
Okay, you're getting it.
I told you.
You may get bored with it.
The only reason you couldn't get too much is because yeah, exactly. Well, I think probably life picture.
Oh, I like those gas lamps down there.
Down there.
Actually,
Oh, wow. You're right. Oh, man. They must do it for the enjoyment of doing it. Not only monetary, but also that, you know. They have to.
yeah, Bernice.
Yeah, man. It sure is.
Yeah, you ought to seen them loaded down and marked.
If things go well, I'll be with you tonight.
Swinging in and out of the opening there.
Oh, the legs. Like fair legs. saying, but I didn't know if that guy there might, you know, might trying to get some money or something. Yeah.
That looks pretty neat.
Yeah, it does.
Got blues in it. Oh, it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Hey, Matt. Trade places with me. Get a little. Huh?
Run over here for you.
No, I just thought I'd get a little bit of view here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
I forget to wonder if he's gonna find it.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
That's right.
Up front, we can ask him if you want to go up there.
Enjoying your iced tea here.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah. Of course, I'm a little more open-minded than some. Whatever is good for you is good for you. Whatever's good for me is good for me. A lot.
Well, I guess people change with the times.
Yeah.
You know, way back there then, oh, they were all moved. We wouldn't have nothing to do with it.
I still have a problem. I guess I'm prejudiced against. And then I don't think it's so much I'm prejudiced against black. I'm prejudiced against lazy. It doesn't matter if black people. People that try to con you out of stuff.
These Mardi Gras beats. I want to see.
I want you to suck it up with your mouth, eh?
I can see him doing that. That'd probably be in his beard after he tried that. Pork. Thank you. How you been pork?
I don't believe it, but he says his name is Cha-Cha.
My 3-year-old Dolly Parton moves.
He's kind of taking a hankering to Fred. I think he is.
And we're getting ready to eat all-you-can-eat shrimp, but we don't have any yet.
Trying to rally you up.
And I know you haven't got to see Fred because he's been doing all the taping, but I wanted to make sure he got in here. And we're at the, we don't know where we're at, but we're somewhere. Oh, here we go. We've got our food. Fred got, what'd you get, Fred? Red beans and rice and a sausage.
Yeah.
And we got shrimp. And our shrimp is a whole shrimp. It's got the head on it. I don't think I've ever had shrimp with the head on it before.
You want a shrimp, buddy? You got it.
It's going to take us a while to eat it, but we've got all night.
Yeah, they got that in the hot water.
Yeah.
Or hot sauce.
Matt got the shrimp too.
I got the shrimp too.
The shrimp with the head on it.
Hot now.
So we're getting ready to eat now.
There's Chief. He still eats shrimp.
Yes, I am. This is what? 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth one.
He don't mean the fourth shrimp. He means the fourth tub of shrimp.
But you're working it off as fast as you're eating.
That's right. That's right.
We can do this all night. Just trying to cancel each other out.
Yeah. Kind of like you drink every hour and a half.
Yep.
That's live Cajun music here in the background there.
They're no easier to peel. There must be a certain kind that.
I'm a hate like that. It's been filming you for I couldn't do it.
I just want to hear the music back here so I can get another video.
Oh, you're filming GT? That makes me so proud. But he
He don't care.
I haven't even slowed down. Whole shrimp, head and all.
All right. Yeah.
That's not empty bags.
Need more shrimp by the time he gets that out there. Well, I just mentioned the time again. He was at like probably last weekend.
The music's coming down there.
I wonder if that's something special. It had a lid on it. None of the others have had lids on them. Right. It's fuller than the others. Whatever you're all up to.
Which way you going?
We're debating which direction to head. Y'all can sit here and wait on us.
Where are you going?
Just down to see what's down there.
Oh, okay. Well, we can walk down there.
There's some more good seats if you want to see.
Yeah.
Phil and Patty.
That's where we had a supper right there.
Headed for the south side.
What's the name of that little highway you run alongside on the outside?
I don't have the slightest idea.
It's bound to be the first road you come to. You wouldn't reckon?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I thought if we got lost here, we'd start looking at a map. If all else fails, look at the map.
That road right there that runs right along. I'll have to go back to it, I guess. This thing really winds around, don't it?
Yeah.
Size of that bridge over there from here.
She said go to the right. Is that what she said, or left?
It's that way.
Oh, okay.
Left.
Okay.
West to LA 18. You might look at the map when you're done taping and
All right.
figure out where we're going and how far. And
Okay. Well, let me stop it here. Shoot.
No, but it's gotta be that building.
Downstairs. Right.
It's the one next to it.
There's an old jump right there.
Yeah. Wow.
It sure wasn't marked very well, was it?
What did they say the name of that one was?
We never saw one.
Yeah.
But I believe that's the one that we went through.
Yeah.
The second one. This is Wallace. Is Wallace on your map?
Wallace.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Let's see.
It's not important.
I'll look here in a minute. I'm taping.
Here's a Whitney.
Yeah.
Well, that's an old place, ain't it?
Oh, it is. It was an old store at one time. Looked like. I'm gonna keep taping. I might see an old cemetery through here. You know, this is a town.
Yeah, this is Wallace.
Is that all there is of Wallace?
We'll know when we go around the corner.
Not much more.
Oh, here's a big bridge.
Let's see what's.
Should tell us where
Right, you
we're
got
at.
that fire hydrant inside there.
Well, I wonder what bridge this is.
We'll find out, I'm sure.
It can't be the Sunshine Bridge because that's on the other side of Oak Alley. We didn't see any sign about Oak Alley, did we?
I would know Oak Alley when I went
Yeah.
past it. And Oak Alley is on the dike, so.
Yeah.
So if you're going down the dike, you can't go by Oak Alley without seeing
Yeah.
it. This is 3213.
Okay, 3213. I'll look here in a minute.
Crosses there's also a Gramercy or something.
Gramercy.
Gramercy.
Smell of wood smoke, huh?
Yep.
None of that's listed. The 3127 is listed. That bridge is not even shown. I can't understand that.
I think it's been shown. Major bridge like that.
Keller Place in Glendale.
Oh, Matt, oh, you asleep?
Matt,
Kind of half.
can you put that up for me?
Yeah. Put up number 2 and hand me the number 1 of the 3 CD set if you would. Ford dealer. Well, we went over 20 miles, close to half an hour
Yeah.
since we got off.
No, we couldn't have got off. I mean,
No, I meant since we got off the
oh, I see.
310.
Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't have got off the route. That's one thing about it.
No, that's what I said. We haven't went past Oak Alley.
It's just a lot further than it looks.
Yeah.
Keep thinking we're kind of interested.
Here's Laura.
Laura?
Yeah, was that on your list?
No.
Laura Plantation.
No.
Yeah, that was not
Was
the
it?
ones we wanted to go see, but it's.
It was on there?
Well, I've seen the name somewhere on some of the.
Maybe I don't remember myself anyway. You look and see.
Oh, may not be.
Oh, I could be
And
mistaken.
here's
I
Louisiana
often
20.
am.
There's nothing there about old plantation on that sign. There's a sign on it.
Louisiana Scenic Byways. Is Laura on the map or?
It is O'Galley.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing those others that are supposed to pass, but I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks neat. Look at
Yeah.
it.
Wow. There it is.
Fixed up pretty easy.
Oh, there's
a 9 mile per hour. That's a good, interesting speed limit.
Yeah, I wonder if you look at.
Oh wow, look at these oaks here. Aren't they pretty?
Was ist los?
Normal, wenn jetzt
Ich
läuft,
bin immer Fußball, der Spanner bis jetzt raus war.
normal, wenn das übrig läuft, dann muss
Good afternoon.
French, Spanish.
Do you need some translation sheets? We have some entire sheets that'll tell you the whole history.
Okay.
Better than these. What do you need, German?
Huh?
You need German?
German? Yes,
How many
please.
you need? 4?
Yeah, 4, please.
5? Whatever.
Right. Beautiful. You getting ready to get a picture, Chief? That's a perfect picture.
Well, I was kind of waiting for you to put the camera down.
All right, I'll put it down.
Maybe we can turn in this piece one of us can get all points.
That'd be great if you could.
They'll look pretty comfortable. Huge trees. Huge. Beautiful. Said she's always wanted one.
Hello, Brad.
Hello.
Oh no.
We're sitting in these chairs like plantation owners right here on the porch of Homeless House. I mean, excuse me, O'Calley. O'Calley. Yeah, O'Calley. Yeah.
You had a bunch of extras too.
Yeah. Look at that mirror. Ooh-wee.
Right this way, folks. Right this way, folks. Sir, this way. Okay, see, back there. Doors. Okay, forward. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andre. I'll be your guide to the first half of the tour about the Oak Alley. We have a few simple rules to follow. No smoking, stay together as a group, no touching of the furniture, and no flash photography. Well, the story starts back in 1837 with our first owner, Mr. Jacques Telesphore Roman. As Mr. Roman was traveling up the river, he spotted this beautiful alley of oaks. He thought it would make a fine place to build a summer home for his bride, Selena. These people were French Creole out in the audience. Now, as Mr. Roman returned home to the audience, he contacted his father-in-law, Mr. Joe Pilet. Mr. Pilet was an architect, so he had to design this home in the Greek revival style. It has 28 columns that surround it. They're 18 inches thick of solid brick covered in plaster. Now the walls throughout the house are 16 inches thick of solid brick. And the ceiling is 12.5 feet high. Now verandas extend 13 feet out from the home to keep it in shade throughout most of the day. And most of the materials to build this house are found here on the property, except for the slate on the roof and the marble we once had on these floors. The work was done by the help of a builder and a lot of slave labor. In fact, there is no way to calculate the building cost of the home since it was done with slave labor. Now, it took just a bit over 2 years to complete, and then the Roman family could move in. Well, of course, they went into the sugarcane business, as most people in this area did. And they did well. Well, at least up to 1848, when Mr. Roman died of tuberculosis. Well, that left it all up to his wife, Selena, to run this plantation. But Selena, being a society lady from New Orleans, of course she didn't know anything about running a plantation. But at least she was fortunate. They did have some local family who could give her some assistance. And with some luck, they managed to get by until 1859, when her son Henry became 18. But then, of course, Henry could take over. Now, Henry worked hard, but he did well. Now, as you know, in 1859, our great Civil War was about to get started. Well, of course, Henry went on for a while, but as you know, I'm sure you realize, he lost all of his slaves. From this point on, things definitely went downhill for Henry. And by 1866, he was bankrupt. Well, that left Henry no choice. He had to sell his fine plantation. He sold his house, most of the furniture, and the 1,200 acres of land for $32,800. With the Bank of New Orleans took it over for a short while. Then a carpetbagger by the name of Armstrong purchased it for an investment. Mr. Armstrong never lived here, but he did allow the Romans to live here and run it for him for a short while. But of course it didn't last. So naturally, we did get a third on. Antoine Sobral. Now, Mr. Sobral stayed here until 24 years. He had 4 sons and 1 daughter. I'll tell you a story about his sons, what they did for fun. Well, they'd open up the back doors of the house and the front doors. They'd start from the back and they'd race through the hallway all the way up this alley of oaks to the very end. But there was one problem. They were doing it on horseback. Well, of course, they ruined the brick floors that were once in the hall. Another thing occurred while that Sobral family was here. His daughter became engaged, and apparently she was wondering if that diamond ring was real. Well, she tried it out on the window pane right back here. The second window up, second from the right, you see her initials. Apparently it was real. Now, 85% of the glass in this house is original. If you notice, it's not like our glass now. When you look through, you get somewhat distorted look. Well, the years were going by. Mr. Sobral elderly, somewhat sickly. None of his children wanted to take over this fine plantation. He had no choice. He had to let it go. At this point, the house was boarded up and abandoned. And it stayed that way for 5 years. Of course, it deteriorated very much. Finally, in 1917, Mr. Jefferson Davis Hardin bought the home. Now, Mr. Hardin put his heart and soul into it. The first thing he did was to bring in some slate from overseas to change the roof. But before he could do anything to the insides of the house, he had to actually burn pots of sulfur in the house for many days to get rid of the gas and other vomit that had accumulated in there. Now, cattle had also broken in through the doorways, came into the downstairs rooms, trampled all the marble floors. And that's, of course, why they all belong today. Well, Mr. Hardin had some other problems. He had to go to court on 2 occasions. He had to go up against the Army Corps of Engineers. You see, they wanted to cut down those first 2 oak trees near the levee. They wanted to widen the river and move the levee. But if you'll count, you will find we still have about 28 oaks. Mr. Hardin won his 2 court battles. But after about 7 years of all these expenditures, he was broke. Naturally, gradually, well, of course, lost his home. They said that most of our owners struggled. Quite a few of them did fail. Now, it was 1925 before we got our 5th and last owners, the Stewarts, Andrew and Josephine. Andrew was a wealthy cotton broker from New Orleans. His wife Josephine was an Armstrong, in the Armstrong cattle ranch in Texas. They purchased this plantation back then for $50,000. Now, the Stewarts were never blessed with any children, but they enjoyed quite a few years here together until 1946, when Mrs. Stewart passed away. Now, that left Miss Josephine Stewart basically living here alone, except for a private nurse and a few servants. But what did make a difference is that she did have a sister named Julia who lived in New Orleans. Julia had children. She'd often come down and spend some time here with Josephine. Now, Julia was the grandmother of our present-day director, Zed Mayhew, who lives here in the overseer's house. Gradually, though, Mrs. Stewart just started to invite other folks in, so much as we're doing today. She enjoyed sharing the home with people and she enjoyed the company of folks. But gradually, as she was getting older, she thought it would be wise to create a foundation so that after she'd be gone, we could do just as we're doing today. Well, Mrs. Stewart created that foundation back in the 1960s. She passed away in 1972. So what they have done, the curators brought this house back in time, the mid-1800s, where these French Creole would have had it, except for one room. There's a stood room upstairs called the lounge room. We'll show it to you a little later. It'll be left there as is out of respect for her. Now, to point out some of the things it did to bring it back as the French Creole had it, was to refinish the doors. That type of work is called pourboire. It's not a stain. It's the way they paint these doors to give it a rich wood grain look that your French Creole insisted upon having. Now, notice that there's a section of the door sanded down to different levels to show you some of the older pourboires throughout many years, in fact, all the way down to the original cypress wood. Notice the doorknobs and the furniture, how low they are compared to what we have now. The French Creole were small people. On average, a man was about 5'5", ladies, maybe 5 feet tall. Another thing they did to improve the appearance of the house was to paint these mantelpieces and baseboards. It's called faux fake marble. Now this is plain old cypress wood that is painted to look like marble. Now, when a young lady wanted to entertain in this room back then, there would always be a chaperone. Now it was normally her mother. Now if the mother had to leave the room for some reason, well, of course she'd come back and check to see how things were going. So what she would do is walk up the hall, open up one of the doors, just a small amount, and look at the mirror. Now this is a chaperone's mirror. Well, of course, by looking at that mirror, of course, she could see everything that was going on in here. She didn't have to come back in. Now, it's also called a federal bullseye mirror. It has 20 balls on it. They represented the 20 states in the Union back then. Now, often in the 1800s, the ladies had a problem with scars on their faces from smallpox and chickenpox. They'd wear a thick makeup, which contained a lot of beeswax. So they would coat their faces real good to hide the scars. But while it was sitting here entertaining and the fireplace was burning, a heat shield such as this would be placed in front of them to make up from melting and running down their faces. Now, what we have right here is rum. Originally started from sugarcane, with pear soaking in. Now, with fermented containers such as this for about 2 months before going to the bottles for the gentlemen to drink, ladies were not allowed to drink. But the ladies were allowed to eat pears for dessert. I think that's a better deal. Notice all the mirrors in this house. Well, mainly what the mirrors were used for was to brighten up the rooms. They reflect the candlelight, thus illuminating the rooms. Also, you'll see some in 2 pieces. The reason is that they were handmade. In other words, a piece could be larger than a man's reach because they had to hand polish them until they got the mirror finished. Now, folks, do y'all have any questions before we move on to the dining room?
Any original furniture?
1 piece.
1 piece?
It's in the master bedroom. It's a little hand-carved rosewood baby cradle that was for the Roman's son Henry. See, as I was saying earlier, when he lost the house or sold it, he sold most of the furniture. Very little was kept, yes. What about this furniture? These pieces, all the rest of the pieces in the house, the curator has gone to France to buy these antiques. They're as close as he can get. He's going by Mr. Roman's inventory. Mr. Roman was very good about keeping inventories. In fact, there's one inventory sheet on the back side of the house as you go out on the little glass frame. So that's what he's using to try to replace anything.
When the house was boarded up, I imagine everything was taken out here, wasn't it? Furniture and everything.
They don't say, but apparently it was. I don't believe they would have left any decent furniture in. So, please join me. We're going to go over to the dining room next. We're going back through this door. The table in front of us is a 16-foot solid mahogany table that dates back to the 1830s. And as you can see, there are 2 patterns of china on this table. But this one was just basically used for daily use. Now this one was somewhat special because it could be used at time of mourning. It was 1 year period the Creole believed in mourning their dead. They used this set. Just a few minutes ago, I did say the Creole people were small. Why did they need such large silverware? Well, this is one of the many ways of showing off their wealth. They could afford all that silver. Now, the reason they're facing down is to reduce the amount of wear on them. The strange object that I'm holding is called a fly catcher. Well, you see, back then the doors and windows were usually left open for ventilation. It's normally hot down here. There were no screens, so of course you had a lot of flies in the house. Now, in order to have peace at your dinner table, you would use this. You'd put some molasses and poison in here. It would attract those flies away from your food into the bottom. They go for that molasses, so of course you get the poison, and they die in here. But now you can imagine what it was like when you sat down to dinner because you have bullet-head flies collecting in front of you. So the lady of the house would always take her hanky out and cover that up, something like that. Now this thing is original to the house. It's called a pumper fan or a shoe fly fan. As you can see, the rope goes through a pulley down to the chair where a servant boy would sit. Well, he pulled the rope and fanned the family while they were having their meals. Since these people were wealthy, they could afford the luxury of ice. So a chunk of ice would be put in a bowl on the table. So of course, when the fan went up and down, we would have a cool room somewhat better. All the cooking was done in a kitchen which was away from the house. It was in that direction where the old garage is now. It burned down many years ago. But you see, these kitchens were a fire hazard. They cooked on open fires. The family did not want to be bothered with the smoke and smells of the cooking anyway. But when the food was finally done, the servants brought it from the kitchen on the brick walkway out here, called the Whistle Walk, to behind this door, which was the butler's pantry. It's now our guide office, but it would be held in that butler's pantry until the master said it was time to serve. All right, folks, any questions up to now?
Is this the actual, sir, are these the actual units that we use?
Well, these are just replacement antiques. They're similar to what the family did have from 1840 to about 1866, the period that we were portraying. The very first family who owned this, built and owned this home. Now, folks, since we have a large group, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to explain the first two rooms you'll see at the top of the stairs. You'll have another guide up there to take you through the rest of the house. Makes it easier this way. When you get up there to your left, that room was used for several purposes. It could be a guest room, a sick room, or even a morning room. You'll see a bed in the room. It's called a rolling pin bed. You'll notice laying on the bed. It looks like a kitchen-type rolling pin. It's part of the headboard that comes off. The servants use that every morning to roll the beds flat. The reason is because it was stuffed with horsehair and moss. So after sleeping on them all night, well, it became very lumpy and terribly out of shape. It took them just a whole lot of work just to fix the beds every morning. Now, there were home remedies in the room for sickness, of course, but in the case that someone died, they'd take the mattress off of the bed, put a plank in its place, lay the body on the plank, then they put a pan of ice under the body. Then finally they'd drape that mosquito netting down around the bed. And it would be used as a visitation room since there were no funeral parlors back then. Now, these people were very superstitious, so they'd cover up all the mirrors with a black cloth because they were afraid the souls of their deceased would be trapped in the mirrors. And one of the ways they dealt with their breathing was to cut off locks of air from the deceased. They'd shape them and mount them in little oval frames and hang them on the wall. When you're standing up in the doorway up there, look straight across, you'll see some. You also will see in that room the black clothing, the ladies wore for the 1 year of grieving. And it's also said that some of the ladies, even after remarrying, wore the black clothes for the rest of their lives. Now, the other room to the right is basically a children's room. There are two large beds in a room, which are simply called boat beds because of the design of the bed frame. Also, there is an original Jenny Lynn crib in that room that dates back into the 1860s. But something more important was that you would have had a nanny in the room or near the room throughout the night to watch over those children, get whatever needs they had. Now, one of the things was that your Creoles believed in having their sweet-smelling gardens all around the house. Well, this, of course, brought more bugs, snakes, small animals close to the house. Many times they went up the balcony and into the rooms because as I said, the doors and windows wall was open for ventilation. There were no screens. So it was part of the man's job to rid the room of these things so it would bring home to the children. It did happen. Any questions, folks, before going on?
Getting back to the food they brought in, did they have it just in time serving, or did they have a way of keeping it warm?
Yes, they did have a way to keep it warm. What I've found out so far is that they use hot coals, just as they did for the bed warmers. You'll see them in some of the rooms upstairs, especially different types of bed warmers. Some look like the old type popcorn pop, and there are also some that sort of look like a piece of pottery with wooden handle that you just pass around on sheets to warm the bed. So that's all we have. Thank y'all for listening. P.S. Fonte, it's a French wedding cake. Bread dough.
And the black clothing you have worn during your mourning. This room was used as a sick room and also a mourning or grieving room for family members.
There's the old rolling pin.
There's the old rolling room. And this is the children's room of the nursery.
Hevosen jouhista tehty se. Niin, se meni yöllä aina ihan.
That's a rolling thing.
You go to the eating room, this is the children's room, this is the sick room. Take a look at these two rooms. This two rooms is already spoken to you about. Come down and see the master bedroom. Look at the two rooms on either side. If you see anything that has a question, just say it. And then come on down the hallway and we'll continue with the visit. We have two doors to the master bedroom. You can look at that door also. Be sure you look up on the ceiling of the master bedroom. You see something that is really to our home also. And it's called the medallion. Take a good look at the baby cradle in this room. It's also open to the garden. Yes, these are the last owners, the stewards. Look at the unusual carvings on the post of the large bed. They seem to resemble the fruit that we like very much in this area. You notice the small dress on the headless mannequin? French Creoles were very small. Most of the women were under 5 feet, but then the men were only about 5'4".
What's under their girls? Sugar cane?
Wow, that's a neat room.
It is. Beautiful.
These are the last owners.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you a little bit more
That's
about
good.
who joins us here. Welcome all of you to the second level of our home. My name is Mary. We'll go on with your visit. Take a look at the master bedroom.
It's not that one.
And see a beautiful carving on the ceiling of the master bedroom that was done by the slaves here on the plantation out of horsehair and plaster. It's what they carved it from. It's called a medallion. And when the Romans lived here, you would have seen a beautiful candlelit chandelier hanging from the center of the medallion. On the bedpost of the large bed, are very unusual carvings. And this is why it is called the pineapple bed. The pineapple in the 1800s became a symbol of hospitality. It meant welcome when you first arrived on your visit. But if you stayed for an exceptionally long visit and woke up one morning with a pineapple near the foot of your bed, it was also a very polite way of trying to tell you you had stayed too long.
It's like a sheet right?
Yeah.
That she donated.
Right. Yeah. And then this is left the way it was when she had it.
Yeah.
The family who built the home in the 1800s. The cradle was made especially for his only son Henry. It is hand-carved rosewood. And the little dress of the headless mannequin is over 150 years old. It is made of imported silky lace. Gives you a good idea of the size of the ladies who live here. And also, it was very costly in those days. That dress cost about $100. Think of what they would think of today's prices. Here in the hallway, we have pictures of our last owners. The Romans built the home in the 1800s, but the Stuarts restored it in 1925. This is Andrew Stewart. who became a very wealthy cotton broker. He retired here in 1925, and he died here at O'Callaghan in 1946. He died in the master bedroom. He was 74 years old. This is his mother and his father when they were very young, and they were from Ireland. This is his wife, Josephine Armstrong Stewart. He met Miss Josephine in New Orleans at a carnival ball. Where else? They were married in 1906. And they moved here in 1925, and she lived here until 1972, when she also died in her bedroom here at O'Callaghan. She was 93 years old when she died. And she was the last and the longest owner-resident that we had. She stayed here for 46 happy years. She's from Texas, by the way. This is in her late 30s, and this is when she's 2 years old. This is her mother, Molly, her grandmother, Granny Durst, her father, Major John D. Armstrong, two of her younger brothers. He was also one of the original Texas Rangers. The cattle ranch that they own is part of the King Ranch today. The young lady at the very bottom is her youngest sister, Julia, and Julia took over. In 1972, when Miss Josephine died, she became the first chairman of the nonprofit foundation. Her sister had created that foundation before she died.
Yeah.
She was the first chairman. She died in her New Orleans apartment in 1991. She was only 102 years old when she died. And her full name is Julia Neal Kaufman. She's the grandmother of our present-day director, Mr. Zeb Nagel Jr. So we're very familiar with her.
Yeah, that's right.
They're really the ones who are keeping the foundation going today. And we're not changing Miss Josephine's room. When Andrew died in 1946, she moved out of the master bedroom, and she chose this room to be her room instead, and did it in her favorite color of lavender. So in respect for our last owner, this is the way it looked when she lived here at O'Callaghan, and until the day she died. And that was October 3rd, 1972. And all the clocks in our home, also in honor of Miss Josephine. She was the last resident owner, so we stopped all the clocks at 7:30 a.m. That was a plantation tradition also. We do not visit the third floor of the home because of the strict fire codes we have in our parish. Fire marshal insists that we have at least 2 exits on every floor, but we only have one for the third floor, and that's the staircase that you see here. This was added also by the last owners in 1925. They added 2 bedrooms and a bath to the third floor. That was their servants' quarters, but today we use it as the first family did, strictly for storage. So you're really not missing too much. The doors that you see here in our hallway, you can see once led to another area of the home. They led to very narrow sitting rooms. Very disrespectful for men to smoke in front of young ladies at that time. So they had what they called gentleman parlors. One was on this side for the gentlemen, but on the other side for the ladies. Okay, and this is where they would smoke their cigars and pipes and maybe play a game of cards, talk about war and politics, and the ladies would sew and read and maybe talk about the upcoming social life in New Orleans. 1925, the Stewarts restored these 2 little rooms as their bathrooms and closets. They didn't have any when they first arrived. That was the first time we had bathrooms inside the home. By closing off the doors here in the hallway, she opened them onto each of the different bedrooms. But she left the doors standing because she found a bit of our history. On the inside of the door panels, we have some of the names of the owners, people who worked on the home throughout the years, and it began with the first owner, J.T. Rowland, in 1837. And the map between the 2 doors gives you a very good idea of the many, many plantations that were all along the Mississippi River from New Orleans to Baton Rouge is on one side. The green shaded areas are the sugarcane plantations. On this side, north of Baton Rouge to Natchez, Mississippi, the large pink shaded areas are your cotton plantations. Of course, after the Civil War, most of these plantations are no longer here. And we're right in the middle of New Orleans and Baton Rouge. We're about 60 miles from either city. Can you find us in there? This gives you an idea of what 1,200 acres looks like. This is O'Callaghan right here. That's the estate of J.T. Rowland, right? You see, this one is much bigger. This is Homer's house. This is 4,000 acres. Lake des Allemands, this is the German settlement here along the river. And this is the French settlement. We were the first Acadian coast. The Acadians, of course, the French Canadians from Nova Scotia, settled here in St. James Parish and Ascension Parish, and the Germans settled in St. John Parish and
Excuse me.
no, oh, sorry.
Pardon me.
Everybody gets that way up there, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The trees are 300 years old, but they have a life expectancy of 600 years.
Wow.
So we like to say they're only middle-aged. They're called Virginia live oaks. They're never completely barren of their leaves, and the leaves will stay green all year round.
What did this lead to? What did they lead to before this was built?
The river
The
road.
river.
And the river, of course.
Green leaf, we seem pretty
Keep we're getting our
red, yellow.
Yeah, they're starting to turn, aren't
Want a
they?
picture
Aren't they
here?
beautiful? We have a beautiful quarter-of-a-mile avenue here, folks, from this home to the river road, created by an unknown French settler. Even today, we do not know who planted the trees, but perhaps this was his way of bringing some of his native friends here to us along the river in Louisiana. There are 28 trees he planted in 2 rows of 14s, and he spaced them about 80 feet apart. In 1837, when Mr. Roman arrived, we almost give him credit for saving the trees because the previous owner wanted to cut the trees. He wanted a bigger home and lots more garden, so he was going to cut the trees. Instead, Mr. Roman took over the property and he saved the trees. They were about 150 years old when the Roman family arrived. And that's when the sugar cane plantation was begun also. And of course, they began to build this home. Levees have been here since the early 1800s, built and maintained by the slaves at that time. They were only 6 to 10 feet high, so you could actually stand here and see the Mississippi River from here. In 1930 is when the government took over. The Corps of Engineers now maintain the levees, and they lifted them up a little higher. They're about 40 feet in this area today, and we do need all of them. Every little foot that we can get is essential, okay? What saves us what saves us is that we have spillways. We have man-made spillways on either side of us. We have the Bonnet-Carré spillway in St. Charles Parish, and then we have the Morganza spillway. And when the river gets really, really high, they'll open the spillways and flood the water to another area. And ours goes to Lake Pontchartrain, which our fishermen do not like. You're putting that muddy Mississippi River in Lake Pontchartrain, where all the shrimps and crabs and fish and all of that
Do they
is.
ever have to clean Pontchartrain out?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I thought maybe sediment or something built up in that, and they lose a lot of valuable water space.
I don't think so. But I would have to ask someone.
But they always told me that before you cut a tree down, it takes you about 15 minutes. Think how long it took to get that tree
To get it to
inside.
grow that way, huh? Right, right. Not too many cypress trees left here along the river. That's what most of the homes were built with in those days. But they added a beautiful alley of live oak trees. Thank goodness we didn't know we could make furniture out of oak at that time, right? Or boats.
So has there ever been flooding here?
We've had flooding in the early 1700s, definitely flooding. But since the Roman family were here, we have no record of it flooding here. And our trees are the best example. They don't like to be underwater. You always find a live oak on the highest ground because their little feet are above the ground right there, as you can see, because they don't like all that water. They don't like the moisture. So we have enough moisture in the ground to support the trees.
I imagine there's a lot of moisture in the ground.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. In Louisiana, you just start digging and you hit water. On either side of the first 2 trees, 2 large cast iron pots are called sugar pots or sugar kettles. Sugar cane was produced here on the river. They would boil the juice of the sugar cane in these large pots until it became the thick brown syrup, molasses. And don't you know that's where all that good rum would come from, too. Of course, the rum was very bitter, so they would add the fruit to it to sweeten it up a bit. That's in that large jar that you saw in the living room, remember? Of course, the ladies got to eat the fruit.
They got the feet or
They got the-
the bear,
Yeah.
bear.
Yeah,
Got the best part of it.
we got the best part. Let's go around this way. We'll show you where the kitchen was in.
Okay. Let me take a picture, you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's standing all around the boxwoods today, And it has the name of the Whistle Walk. Well, Scoots told them they have to whistle as they carried the food over to be sure they were not eating or tasting it on the way.
Yeah, but what happens behind closed doors back there?
The large bell, which is called the Plantation Bell, and it was cast in Pittsburgh, 1848. And the one that you see further back is part of the original plantation, dating back to the 1840s. It was called the Overseer's Cottage. Now, when the Romans left here in September, someone had to manage the property, and that was the
Still looks a little out of focus to me. Once you
Today
look
it
at
is
that
the
here.
personal residence
got
of
it
our
running.
director, Mr. Mayhew. He's the owner of the original plantation, dating back to the 1840s. It was called the Overseer's Cottage. Now, when the Romans left here in September, someone had to manage the property, and that was
Still looks a little out of focus to me. Once you
Today
look
it
at
is
that
the
here.
personal residence
got
of
it
our
running.
director, Mr. Mayhew. He's the owner. And the young man, of course, would stay in the fresh air, the heart, that is today. When you reached the age of 15, you were considered an adult in those days. So the young ladies who reached the age of 15 would always be chaperoned. They had their chaperones with them. And they were allowed to sleep inside the home. But the young men, when they reached the age of 15, were not allowed to sleep in the home. If they were single, they slept in what they called the garçonniere, which is our ticket office today.
Why did they treat the boys to me?
Oh, that was a needs. That was a privilege. They were close enough to the family that they would still be considered part of the family. This was at night.
Yeah, we went to one that
Well, they like to play cards and they like to,
said rowdy, you know,
et cetera,
noisy.
et The women had to be very virtuous in those days. They wouldn't drink,
Smoke.
behave themselves.
Did some of them smoke? Did that was no too.
That was in
How about you?
I smoke? No.
No, I said you.
Oh, tobacco.
But we pay for it, you know, the vet jewels in the back.
Thank you for visiting.
The old boy you say on the back end, very interesting. You're welcome.
Learning stuff that you get up there, but some pretty nice to see.
They call that, I don't know. Oh, boy.
Well, that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's good cook. No, it is really good.
Where you guys from?
Well, this is just a beautiful spot here. It just, there are very few places on this earth any prettier than this, you know? You know it?
Yes, you're right.
That's nice. I'm done. Just think, you're walking through history. Think of all the stuff that took place here. See, this is neat. They got some of the trees, at least this one lit up.
Yeah.
I don't know if the others do.
Let's see why we're going with that one.
Yeah. They may be on, they're probably on the timers, I mean, you know, light sensors, and some of them are more sensitive than others. And they're already on. Wow. I'm sure you heard on the tape that these trees are 150 years old, but they live. No, they're 300 years old. Excuse me, 300 years old. But they live to be 600, so they figure they're only middle-aged. You know, the light's still not that bad. I think we can do it. Oh, yeah. You gonna meet me in the car? Okay. I'll meet you out here. Okay, here we are. Out to the end of the trees. We did it. We got them all. Here we go. Beautiful, isn't it? Howdy. It's beautiful.
That'd have been pretty being able to stand up there and look at those trees with the river when you could actually see it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That would have been neat, wouldn't it?
Would have been really wonderful. Want to? Now he's gonna pick this up, is this Craig? You know, we're gonna have to go through the fence. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it does. It is. I'm gonna get it across the road here. There it is. There it is. Now we'll give you another close up here of it. There. Yeah, it's neat. Levee here. Yes, I need to climb that too. Oh, that's a pretty sunset. Wow. There's a big mighty miss. So they must have went straight up to the river at one time, right? Before they built this, it would come straight up the river. Oh. There it is, sunset on the Mississippi. Huh? Oh, he'll be around pretty quick. Well, let's get one more shot of this pretty sunset. Then I better stop it.
I believe that guy was right. I don't know why they wouldn't even want to wear period costumes. I think it makes sense.
Oh. I'll tell you why. Keep getting this sunset, but I enjoy it so much. I hate not to take it. Uh-huh. You know, yeah. Anyway, that was, if we'd known so, we might have saved ourselves a chunk of money. Not for all of us. I got two of them. Yeah, tell me. There he is. There he is. Howdy. Sounds good, sounds good. Yeah, it was a pretty sunset.
Yeah, I could see that going
Yeah.
on.
It's just about gone though. You better sneak up, take a peek. It's just about gone. Yeah. You want me to try to get you in it? All right. Matt, come take a picture. Okay, we stopped here to get this cemetery. Now, we haven't gotten the bare mold on top of the ground because there's too much moisture in the ground. to vary, folks. And there's some great big ones in New Orleans, which I didn't have my camera ready when we saw, so we had to settle for this one. Something extra. What's this? What is it, dog? Good heavens. If y'all don't mind, I won't get that on videotape. No, not on my account. Not on my account. You know, they have, the one thing about it, you can have a tombstone on top of the balls itself. Ooh. Yeah, they got a dead doggy dirty out here and left. I didn't get it on video, but good heavens, it smells real bad. Just left it lay. Nice bow.
They look old, but actually was just married in 94.
Oh, this is a new break. There's a 90, or 1986, 1983.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know these either. Whether these are grape robbers or ghouls, these guys you see walking away here. There they go. Now look at this cross made out of a piece of reinforcement rod. Wow. Maybe it's U.S. colored infantry.
Yeah, I
That's
bet
it.
you're right.
Yeah. See, I bet, see, this is a black neighborhood.
I bet you're right.
Yeah.
January of 16, 1957, is that so?
Yeah. But the moisture down here makes them look a lot older than they are. Now that is an old one there, but I don't know if they put a, I can't read it, it's too far gone.
1957,
Good heavens.
right here.
Man, that's deteriorated a lot. That's a military. He must have served in World War II or something, you know?
United States Navy Reserve.
Yeah? Wow.
United States Navy Reserve.
Yeah?
You know, they used to say some other stuff.
Yeah? You can see. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, towards the end there's some older ones too.
Look at all this.
Put it down.
The bigger cemetery. Yeah, wow, look at that thing. 156.
See, there's already 3 names on this one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of talking about.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Family tree on it.
Boy, look at that.
Look at that, that was done deteriorating.
That fell in with the people.
Yeah. That reminds me of, on Orton Plantation had some ancient ones, way back in the early 1800s, they were like that, wasn't they, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, eventually they'll be.
well. Yeah.
Front door's open on that one.
Oh, no.
Well, that ended.
They may come out and visit with me.
Look at that old brick.
It kind of reminded me of the black guy my granddad said they had set up with the corpse, you know, when they used to have them set up with the dead and have funeral homes and have them stay there and put them on ice and have them set up with them. And during the middle of the night, the muscles got to contracting on that corpse and they'd sit straight up. And the black guy, they saw him in town. They said, "What are you doing here? I thought you're supposed to be sitting up with the body." He said, "I don't mind sitting up with the body, but when they start sitting up with me."
They might get worried.
That's right.
See, I could see telling my insurance man. I heard and said, "What happened?" He said, "Back then the grave."
Yeah. That one, did you see that? I see repose. I see I repose on that. That says,
Hey, they got a grave over here.
uh-oh.
You don't reckon this place is haunted?
It probably is. If I was a ghost, I'd like a place like this.
Yeah. That's what I say. I say they don't do that much anymore.
You
You either getting ready to put one down or taking one up.
You just didn't get somebody to dig a grave, a neighbor could come in if somebody died.
Maybe he's actually grave robbing.
They think it's an insult.
That's right.
to get to dig the grave.
The stories he tells us, they was pretty good for the time he was done. They used to dig them grave.
Not happy when you come down there next time they want to sneak around.
That's what I thought.
I'm not gonna grave or something.
Well, they don't manually dig graves anymore.
So I could be mistaken.
The other way could have been quick or shorter, but it sure didn't look like one.
No, I didn't.
Well, look at it down there.
Yeah.
Some gators.
Yeah, that's definitely a swamp area. Down, gator. Yeah. Pretty road.
Hurricane evacuation. Seems
funny to think a hurricane's in through here, but
Yeah.
we're not that far off yet.
No.
This is a nicer part of the day.
Yeah.
Well, their trees aren't quite as big as they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not 300 years old. Yeah.
Look, they've already got this. It is now open and look at the crowd already.
My goodness. Popular one.
Yeah.
Of course, the other one, we got there late
Yeah.
in the day. It made me like that.
Yeah. And maybe we could have used our old Cali tickets we found here.
Yeah. A little bit different than Okay.
Did.
I'm gonna take one with my camera, would you?
Are you taking tickets? It says tickets required beyond.
Yeah. Where do you want us to stand?
What is that? Something like that.
Yeah.
Your eyes are closed.
Yeah. Beach to the river there. Tours is that way and restaurants the other way. I gotta at least see the restaurant before we leave because this is where Dad had his meal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grandma, this was their thing, you know?
Yeah, they loved it. It was kind of like a little second honeymoon. It was really nice. Of course, they went to Hawaii for the second honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
But
Of course, that was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
all that back in the 70s, when we was working on Crescent Lake, mid-70s.
Yeah.
I'm really glad they got this. This was 86, they did it, September of 86. Yeah, magnolia tree. We'll get one for Shirley. Oh. Okay. All right, get in there. Here. All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I actually cut off your, camera.
Oops.
I'll do that too.
All right.
You'll see when you look in the viewfinder,
Yeah.
I'm actually cutting off your feet just below the knees
Yeah.
because to get the house in.
The famous,
To do the same.
I think the famous side is the back side there too, with the rounded.
Yeah, Neal, and I got the top of the house, but I have to cut off the feet.
Yeah.
It did Neal. Of course, he's always Neal.
Yeah, what you're seeing is this, but it doesn't show up in the picture.
When we get next year, is you want to get the back or just wait till we take the chair first? Okay, right around there. Okay.
That thing can get off the hook right
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, it just gets better and better.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if we change the road around and do it, huh? Back up, get another picture.
Yeah.
This one, the guy running the back up.
Right. It's had a spike. Well, there's always been brutal men,
Yeah, just like it.
just like today. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's
You're going against the sun, though, Bob.
yeah. Oh, here he is. And he's forward of the sun, right in here.
That's why I'm in the thing. But the important thing now is whoever takes our picture, if you get any of the sky in there, it'll make the picture too dark.
Okay, you ready for instance?
Yeah, so you don't want any sky in the picture.
Well, like,
Yeah, that's good, that man.
Oh. Well, it's gonna be a mess.
So basically, I had the roof line at the very top is what I got.
And it was still on, so you're not to get ground and feet and everything else.
I'm watching it when I take it.
Just fast forward it, yeah, cut it
I'm
down.
not, I won't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just put them on and leave.
Yeah.
So they can have fast forward.
Yeah.
I've done that many times.
Yeah. This is a pretty one, and this is supposed to be the biggest plantation home in the south, according to that. There it is, says largest plantation.
Yes, all those people. Woo!
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll get you one upstairs.
I thought the church group.
Yes, ma'am. Is there any restrictions on the video inside?
This square ring, the wing here is a square ring. You don't just try to use the long ring, that is the round ring over here. Now this whole ring was built for the Randolph girls. They had 7 girls and 4 boys in the family. We're a bed and breakfast home, part That's the Bagula, island, and it's named after the Gula Indians, which were the original settlers here. So if you look just over here, you can see the other bank of the river right through here. Randolph would have never built this home this close to the river. They had an 8-acre front lawn here, beautifully landscaped with formal gardens. But over the years, the river has kept moving.
Chief? Chief John?
Out on the other side there.
The tape. Right. You're getting it. Right. Let's see what this. Peacock, I will. Yeah. What's in there? Oh, that's the restaurant? I gotta look in there at least. That's where Dad had his famous meal.
Yeah, this was just better preserved, I think, during after the war. A lot of the original stuff was alive. I wonder if that family's still wealthy. You think they are, or is it all? I don't know. What is that? Look pretty neat now.
Whoops. Well, let's get the old boy himself there, yeah. Well, I made it by the way. Well, I guess it's time to go. Time to go. Here we go. Oh, thank you, Chief.